Managing employee engagement and performance. Employee satisfaction, job withdrawal, and engagement. Employee satisfaction, a pleasurable feeling from fulfilling job values like pay, work-life balance, growth, and etc. Satisfaction is subjective. Perception matters more than objective conditions. Declining satisfactions predict turnover better than absolute satisfaction. Job withdrawal. There are 3 stages. Behavior change. Employees attempt to improve working conditions. Physical withdrawal, absenteeism, tardiness, internal transfer, or quitting. Psychological withdrawal, disengagement, low job involvement, reduced commitment, unethical behavior. Employee engagement. Fully involved and committed employees will boost organizational performance. Turnover is costly. High satisfaction drives performance, profit, and competitive advantage. Millennials in the workplace value benefits over cash, collaborative environments, and rapid feedback. Highly skilled but have high turnover rates. With the right work conditions, they demonstrate strong commitment. Performance management. Purpose of performance management. The first one, strategic, aligns performance with business goals. Second, administrative, guides decisions on pay, promotions, and retention. Third, development, identify gaps and foster employee growth. Performance management process, define performance, set clear expectations, align with strategy. Measure performance, use objective and reliable assessment method. Provide feedback, offer constructive guidance to improve performance. Criteria for effective performance management systems. Strategic congruence. The system should align employee performance with organizational goals. Validity. The system should measure all relevant aspects of performance without contamination. Reliability. The system should produce consistent results over time and evaluators. Acceptability. The system should be accepted by both managers and employees as fair and useful. Specificity. The system should communicate expectations and how employees can meet them. Approaches to performance management. Comparative approach, ranking. Employees ordered from best to worst. Forced distribution, predetermined performance category. Pair comparison. Each employee compared against others individually. This approach identifies high and low performance, but can be arbitrary and demoralizing. Attribute approach rates employee based on traits like teamwork and leadership. This approach is simple and widely used, but it's subjective and lacks actionable feedback. Behavioral approach evaluates specific behaviors using bars or competency models. This approach provides detailed and actionable feedback, but this approach is kinda time-consuming to implement. Result approach focuses on measurable outcomes like MBO and balanced scorecard. This approach is good because it's objective and aligned with business goals, but this approach may overlook behaviors critical to performance. Sources of performance information. Managers, knowledgeable about job and performance, and also motivated to give accurate ratings, but may not observe all tasks and possible bias or favoritism. Peers, best at observing daily performance and encourage teamwork and recognition, but it can be friendship bias. Subordinates, valuable insight on leadership behavior, help managers improve leadership skills, but may inflate ratings if not anonymous. And also, managers may be prioritize satisfaction over productivity. Encourage self-reflection, help managers understand employees' perspective, but often inflated and overly positive. Customers, direct experience with service quality, essential for customer-facing roles, but expensive and time-consuming. 360-degree feedback, comprehensive, multiple source, it can be peers, managers, subordinates, customer, and self. balance different perspective for development, but time-consuming and also may cause retaliation if not anonymous, and requires proper follow-up for effectiveness. Rating errors and how to minimize it. Common rating errors. Contrast error. Comparing employees to each other instead of criteria. Severity bias. Rating too high or too low. Central tendency. Rating everyone as average. Halo or horn effect. One trait can influence entire evaluation. Minimization strategies. Rater error training. Managers should aware of common errors and provide strategies to avoid it. Frame of reference training ensures consistent rating standard. Conducting effective performance feedback sessions. Preparation. Managers should gather performance data and plan the discussion. Specific feedback. Provide clear, specific examples of performance strength and weakness. Two-way communication. Encourage employee to share their perspective and concerns. Development focus. Discuss action steps for improvement and set clear goals. Follow up. Conduct periodic check-ins to track progress. Diagnosing performance problems. Causes of poor performance. Lack of ability, skills or knowledge gaps. Unclear expectations. Employees unsure of their goals. Lack of feedback. Employee may not receive regular feedback. Motivational issues. Employees disengaged or unmotivated. The solutions. Identify root cause. Provide necessary training and support. Set clear expectations and goals. Continuously monitor and adjust strategies. Perceptions of fairness in discipline and dismissal. Fairness principles. Outcome fairness. Perceive equity in disciplinary actions. Procedural fairness. Consistency, transparency, and ethical decision-making. Interactional fairness. Respectful and professional communication. Progressive discipline process. Unofficial warning. Informal correction. Written reprimand. Documented notice. Suspension. Temporary leave as a serious warning. Termination. Final step for repeated violations. Alternative dispute resolution. Open door policy. Encourage direct discussions. Peer review. Employees evaluate the dispute. Mediation. Neutral third party facilitates resolution. Arbitration. Binding decision by neutral party. Support for affected employees. Employee Assistance Program. Counseling for personal issues impacting performance. Outplacement counseling. Career transition support for terminated employees. Case. Exercising strategy. Weighing in for healthy employees. Workplace wellness program are increasingly recognized for boosting productivity, engagement, and retention, while reducing absenteeism and disability costs. However, despite 72% of Canadian organizations offering wellness initiatives, only 23% have fully integrated strategies. A study by Richard Eve School of Business found a surprising role reversal. HR managers, 51%, support wellness programs for their financial benefits. Senior accounting managers backed them due to moral responsibility rather than cost savings. General managers valued both perspectives. Wellness programs can cut healthcare and disability costs by over 25% with an ROI of $4.50 per $1 spent. Rising obesity rates and mental health issues add to the urgency. Companies like Scotiabank, Great Little Box Company, and Bayer Canada have adopted wellness strategies to enhance engagement, retention, and work-life balance. Whether for financial or ethical reasons, investing in employee well-being benefits both employers and the employee. Question 1. What might account for the role reversal results in the EV study, where HR managers support implementation of wellness programs based on bottom line impact, and senior accounting managers support such initiative for reasons of moral social responsibility. The answer? Typically, HR managers focus on employee well-being while accounting managers emphasize cost control. HR managers supported wellness programs based on financial benefits. This can reducing absenteeism, boosting productivity, and lowering healthcare expenses. Accounting managers often focus on financials, unexpectedly prioritize wellness programs due to a sense of moral and social responsibility, seeing employee health as an ethical obligation. General managers balance both perspectives, recognizing that wellness impacts both employee satisfaction and business performance. Second question, based on the content of this chapter, what types of strategies and interventions might help to reduce the need for and cost of mental health related leaves? I think to address workplace mental health challenge, these strategies can be implemented. Employee assistance programs provide confidential counseling and crisis support. Manager training equip leaders to recognize stress and foster open communication. Preventative mental health initiatives include mindfulness training, stress management workshop, and resilience programs. Wellness and physical health programs promote fitness, proper nutrition, and ergonomic workspace. Psychological safety and inclusive culture. Encourage a stigma-free environment where employees feel supported. Conclusion. Effective human resource strategies drive organizational success by balancing employee well-being, engagement, and productivity with business objectives. Strategic workforce planning, talent management, and workplace wellness initiative reduce costs, enhance retention, and foster a positive work culture. By aligning HR practices with long-term goals, we can create a sustainable and competitive organization where people remain the most valuable asset.